Hey, I'm Josh from Vacuums R Us in Colorado, and today we're going to be doing a main blower motor replacement on this Bissell Big Green Shampooer. I'm going to show you real quick how to troubleshoot what the issue is and to be able to tell whether your main blower is bad. You're typically going to have a real awful sound when your blower motor is bad. It's unusual that when the motor is bad, it does not power on at all. Typically, when you have a bad motor, it does power on, but it's very loud. But there's a couple of different things on these which can cause them to be loud. And the blower motor is actually the less common of those different things. So there's two motors. One of them runs the brush. One of them is the blower motor. It creates the suction. The brush motor actually has a higher failure rate than the blower motor. Additionally, the brush roller itself commonly will melt and create a grinding. It's an awful racket, right? So what you're going to want to do is turn the machine on. You can hear that horrific sound. We know that's the blower motor because we did not recline the machine, nor did we engage the brush bar motor. If you turn the machine on and it sounds fine, then you recline the machine and your brush roll motor turns on, then you hear the sound, then you know you have an issue with either your brush roll or your brush roll motor. If you have a brush roll issue, that's something you can visually inspect without taking the machine apart. You can turn it, see if you can hear any clicking or grinding or anything like that. If you do not, then you know you have a brush bar motor. But today we're doing a blower motor. We turn it on, we don't engage the brush, we don't lean the machine back to cause the brush to start spinning, so we know that our blower motor is bad based on that horrific sound. Okay, so now that we know that our motor is bad, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the repair. This is a relatively easy repair. Most of the repairs on the Bissell shampooers are comparatively straightforward compared to other shampooers. Now that said, as always, perform this repair at your own risk. If you're not an authorized Bissell service center, it's not my problem if your machine blows up or becomes sentient and eats your cat as a result of the actions that you take from watching this video. Not my problem. Additionally, it is worth noting most of these machines sold residentially have 5-year warranties. If you start working on this, your warranty is void. If you bring it into a service center such as ours, we won't touch it. So don't do that. If you're under warranty, just bring it to a service center and be done with it. I know you think you're smart, Mr. Fix-It. Don't do it. If it's under warranty, you're going to void your warranty. So just bring it into a service center. Okay, so assuming you're not under warranty or you are in fact a authorized service center, and that's why you're watching this video, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a motor replacement. So your blower motor is right here, and we're going to be accessing it from the top of the machine. I'm going to lean the handle assembly back so it's out of my way. So I got a whole bunch of Phillips head screws on here. Pretty straightforward. There's 2 screws in the back. Pop those puppies out. Now there's, I believe, only 2 different sizes of screws on these machines. The screws I'm taking out back here, right here, there's 2 of them. Those are short. And I'll go over that again when we put it back together again, but so those are the short screws. Okay, on the front of the machine, we have a bunch of screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so these are longer screws. We got short screws out of the back motor, and then we have the longer screws are coming out of the front. So the short screws are in the back. This unit is actually missing a screw up here for some reason, which concerns me. So now our back is going to pop right off. So I'm going to flip this around so you can see where we're at. You'll see how comparatively easy of a repair this is because we're already to the motor, just like that. So the missing screw is right here. It's inside the machine, which is interesting. So it appears that the mount up here that screw goes into broke, and the screw somehow fell inside of the machine. And I almost wonder if that may have had something to do with the motor failure. I'm going to post links below to all of the parts for this machine, including the motor we're about to replace, so that you can order those parts if needed. The screws I'm taking out now are fatter. They're significantly fatter than the other screws. Okay. All right, so we took 3 screws out, and the motor just works its way out. You'll find that there's a total of 4 wires that go into this motor. There's actually 2 ground wires, and then negative and positive with an inline fuse. The wires go underneath the machine, and there is a bundle of wires that come together down there that are all wire nutted together. It's a lot of wires going into one junction. It's kind of tough to get them to twist together and to get a wire nut on there securely. I think you're better off cutting your wires up top, which is what I'm going to do, and then securely either crimp or wire nut the wires on to the new motor. Some of these clip off, like this ground wire will just clip off the motor, and then the other ground wire will also unclip. Okay, so I've got this inline fuse on the new motor. I'm going to be putting the new inline fuse in. So when I cut this wire right here, the white wire, I'm going to be cutting on the other side of the fuse so that the old fuse stays on the old motor. And then I'll cut the black wire, and I've got that out of there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the one side ground wire that's clipped on, because I'm going to clip my existing ground wire onto there. All right, so before I put the motor in, I'm going to put this one ground wire that had a clip on it. I'm going to clip that to the side of the motor because that side faces the machine and isn't accessible once the motor is in. Put the motor in there, and you kind of just have to wiggle it in. You push it, you wiggle it, and you'll get it in. So we have one, oh, I crimped that wire, there we go. We have the one ground wire here that simply plugs in. And then we have our black and white are our remaining wires. And I'm gonna wire nut, and I'm gonna strip and wire nut those. So I wanna leave myself enough room, plenty of room right there. And the same thing here. I'll strip all my wires. All right, so I'm a big fan of using zip ties as well as wire nuts or crimps. I feel like a lot of strain gets placed on the wires. There's a lot of vibration that goes on in floor care machines. So what I do is I'll twist my wires together. So I'll put a zip tie about a ½ inch away from where my wire nut's gonna go. And that will keep that wire together. If the wires get moved around and pulled, the strain is going to be on the zip tie, not on the wire nut, which could potentially pop off, right? Same thing on the black. All right, so we'll put some wire nuts on there. And again, I like to be extra cautious. I actually electrical tape my wire nuts down so that they don't vibrate off. Please note that we're not using electrical tape instead of wire nuts. We are using electrical tape in addition to wire nuts. All right, so I've got my 3 larger screws that are also the fatter screws. We're gonna put 3 of those in, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. All right, so we've got the motor screwed down. We're gonna put the new gasket on. They come with the new gasket. There's only one way to put this on. There's a ridge, and the ridge is gonna stop the gasket from going down too far. All right, you'll wanna be sure that your wires are all kind of tucked in down here or up here, one or the other. Either way, they need to be out of the way. And then this, slide in. There are tabs on the side. You'll apply pressure, downward pressure. And you usually have to tap that side in. All right, there we go. We're seated all the way around. Okay, and the 2 short screws go in the back. All right, now we're gonna flip the machine around. So remember, we're gonna have 1 extra screw because this is right here is broken, and we cannot put that screw in there. That's the screw that we found inside the machine. I've got 1 still hanging there. One thing I forgot to note when taking it apart, there was one other size screw, and it's like a medium size. It's not tiny like the ones that were in the back, but it's like a medium size. And that goes in this upper corner up here next to the flow indicator. Everything else is long. All right, now fully assembled, we're going to go ahead and test fire it. I should say that sounds significantly different. I'm happy with those results. Hopefully this video was helpful. I will post the link to the motor we just replaced as well as the parts book that includes every single part that this machine uses below. If you need to find any parts, there they are. Thanks for watching.